no fear.
At the beginning of this film, we see a man named Riddick. He was caught on a vain planet. One of his feet was additionally uncommonly hurt. That's why he was walking around. There were dangerous untouchables here who looked like a wolf. They all of a sudden start ambushing Riddick. They were all running towards Riddick's. He stows absent in a water pit to save his life. He was holding his breath. He was holding up for them to require off. When they take off, he comes out of the water. Unexpectedly, one of the wolves attacks him, who was there. Riddick hurls a bit of metal truant to save his life. The wolf runs towards him to require it. After that, Riddick goes to a cave, where he rests a little and considers his harm. What needs to be done presently? There was in addition a lake inside the same cave, where the same wolf had come once more. The wolf had come there to drink water. There were as well various unsafe harmful creatures inside the same lake, who looked like snakes. They butcher the wolf there. Riddick was as well covering up there and seeing all this. He additionally had to cross this lake to go to the way ahead. That's why when he starts going unpretentiously from there, the creature living inside the water saw him. He starts killing him. He secured up among the stones to save his life from that risky creature. And from here we know the story of Riddick, that how he came to this planet. Riddick utilized to live where he put that, on his half-planet. He butchered the master of that put on his planet. In return, he was made the ruler of that put. But without a doubt, after getting to be a ruler, Riddick utilized to be especially pushed, since various people were adversaries in his life, who was required to kill him and get to be rulers themselves. Since it was the appear there that whoever butchers the master, that person will be made a ruler. And this was the reason that his life was persistently at risk. One day, the woman who lived with him as well endeavored to kill him. But he was outstandingly shrew. He caught her and killed her. Riddick had known that a man named Vaku was behind all this, since he was required to finish up the ruler instead of Riddick. He makes a bargain with him. He says that on the off chance that you let me know the way to a put called Furia Planet, at that point I will make you the ruler of my put here. Truly, the diagram of that put was over. But by and by, as it were, Vaku knew his way. He concurs with Riddick's words and sends Riddick to Furia Planet with his exceptional people. But when there, he finds out an afterthought, that this is often not Furia Planet, but a vain planet, and there's no take after of any human being here. He caught on that this was reasonably a trap of Vaku. He sent his companions here to kill Riddick. All the companions assault him. He was as well combating them. And though engaging, he falls down from the mountain. By and by all of Vaku's companions think that Riddick is dead. After that, they all take off that planet. So this was the story of Riddick, how he came to this planet. By and by let's see Riddick, who was still on this planet. He utilized to drink water from the lake and caught an angle to eat. He didn't ought to stay here, so he had to keep developing. He kept a child of a wolf with him, so that he appears to raise it and make it his pet animal, which would additionally be valuable to him, since he required a companion. Presently, small by little, he puts the hurt of the hurt features in himself furthermore in that wolf, so that he can get to be safe from this hurt. Meaning, in case the creature attacks him, at that point this hurt has no effect on him and no effect on his animals. By and by Riddick goes to the same lake where the creatures were. He murders everyone one by one, and after that clears out with his wolf. After that, we see the scene after a thought, where Riddick's wolf had created up. One day, his wolf brings him something like a ball. After seeing Riddick, he caught on that there are additional individuals there. When he goes ahead in the same way, he sees a space station made by individuals. When he goes inside and sees, there was no human there. But he gets some nourishment. And in conjunction with that, he gets a commentary that was composed almost by Riddick, in which it was composed that whoever brings Riddick's cut head will be given a very colossal compensation. After which he comes out of the space station. He sees that there were dim clouds outside, it was getting to rain, which was awful news for him. Directly he comes back in and turns on the space station machine and looks himself through the machine. He sends a message to all the planets inside the universe that he is here so that everyone knows that Riddick is here. Since he knew that on the occasion that he had to go out of this planet, he would have to call someone here to offer help. And he knew that by doing this, some person will certainly come there. And it as well happens that after a while a spaceship comes there. There were many people in it who were looking for Riddick, but not in great, they did not come to save him, but they came here to murder him. After coming here, the pioneer of the spaceship closes his transport and takes out his running control center points, and puts them in a secure, and tells his companions to keep an eye on him. Riddick knew that Riddick is especially intelligent. In case he gets these centers, he will run missing with the spaceship from here. As a result of these centers, the spaceship runs. That's why he secured it. When they come to the space station, one of the extraordinary men of the Pioneer scrutinizes a note there, in which it was composed that on the off chance that you just have to save your life, at that point take off a celerity and go absent from here. On the other side, their Pioneer had confined a youthful woman to celerity. Here the Pioneer tells his companions to set the youthful woman free. When the young lady starts running absent from there, the Pioneer shoots the young lady from behind and murders her. Riddick was too watching all this. The Pioneer says, "I know, Riddick, you're watching me furtively. You'll get to come sometime recently me, and without taking your head from here. I will not go empty-handed from here." Tuning into the leader's words, his companions say that our Pioneer isn't doing right since he knew that Riddick is so precarious and risky, so he ought not to fight him. But they had to do all this for their Pioneer. They in addition put colossal cameras close to the space station, so that they will know nearly Riddick. But after a while, they discovered that another spaceship is coming here. Presently the Pioneer did not need more people to come here since he needed to kill Riddick alone. He is required to encourage himself to compensate himself. And here we find out that the Pioneer was not sent by anybody else but Baku, who was behind Riddick. But nothing like that happens. The Expedite in addition lands and stops close to the space station. The title of this Pioneer was John. There was as well a young lady who was with him who was his companion. John tells the Pioneer that they will not come to his work. "Do anything you wish, but let us do our work here." The Pioneer was not the one to agree so successfully. He was a childish and rapacious man. He besides keeps the notes of John's spaceship in his secure so that no one can play traps on him. And as it were after that he grants John to remain here. The Pioneer continuously kept the keys to his secure around his neck. That night the camera was in addition broken, that the Pioneer introduced, was harmed by Riddick and his wolves. The Pioneer goes to check the camera with his companions. But John was ending him. He says, "To see, do not go there. It is possible that all is a rule Riddick's trap. He must have laid a trap there." But the Pioneer does not tune into John and goes absent. Sometime recently long as he goes there, one of the leader's companions gets caught and kicks the bucket. And the other companion as well. At that point, the Pioneer sees that his third companion was too being pulled by Riddick and taken into obscurity. Seeing all this, the Pioneer was uncommonly focused. There John in addition knows this, but as before long as he had guaranteed the Pioneer that he would not come to his work, he was doing the same. But by and by the Pioneer himself comes to John and asks for offer assistance. But he besides gets into mischief with his companion. In return, his companion punches the Pioneer. John says, "Confirm, I I am arranged to help you. But you need to give me to Riddick for a fair one day. At that point, you'll do anything you need with him. It was clear that John had an assorted reason for catching Riddick. After that, John to begin with shoots at Riddick's wolf, and puts the following gadget on it. Since he knew that the wolf would go to Riddick. By and by, taking after him, they reach Riddick, who was in a cave. There they see that he had hung the dead body of the leader's man. He was reasonably required to redirect them. And John is well caught on this. These individuals were here. So Riddick had come to the space station there. Directly they go there quickly, but indeed there they do not discover Riddick. They caught on that the security in which they have kept the control center points, he must have stolen it. But the pioneer was not arranged to accept this. He says that all the time the key was in my neck. So how can this happen? Directly he dreadfully opens the secure and checks. But at the same time they in addition felt that perhaps Riddick cleared out a bomb in it. But when the pioneer opens the secure, there were all the control hubs in it. But this time they take off it open. And on beat of that, Riddick comes and takes them and stows away them underneath the ground. When John finds out almost this, he gets exceptionally irate. Directly he says to call another alacrity by the radio, but due to the bad weather, he may not conversation approximately it. But after a whereas, Riddick himself comes before them, who had hurled his weapons. He comes to them and says, "Give me a space transport and take the control nodes. You've got as it were a small time here, since it is advancing to rain." Saying this, Riddick clears out from there. When Riddick was clearing out from there, the pioneer behind him tries to murder him. But at that point, Riddick's wolf assaults him, which drops him down. The pioneer in addition hurled the wolf distant absent. Seeing all this, Riddick comes to spare his wolf. John's companion comes and shoots neglectful implantation on Riddick. And the pioneer additionally murdered the wolf. They make Riddick their slave. After this, when he comes to his faculties, he finds himself caught in the space station, where John was sitting before him, and was asking about his child. Here we know that when Riddick was caught on this planet, the individuals who brought him here, John's child was moreover in them. But Riddick does not answer John, and says that nothing is going to happen here, you should be afraid of it. John gives up and hands Riddick over to the pioneer. The pioneers were instructed to be beheaded with a giant sword. When he started decapitating Riddick some time ago, it started pouring in there. And the creatures that had been anchored to the ground came out of the water. Everyone heard an unusual voice on the space station. Everyone panicked. Seeing this, they ambushed every creature there. The creature killed 2 companions. Seeing all this, John realized that Riddick could save her, since he has an invoice to proceed with the transportation. He was about to open Riddick when her vanguard came. He stopped him, but in the meantime, Johannes opened the chains at his feet. At this point, Riddick decides to kill Pioneer and bargains with John for the transporter in exchange for the note. John also agreed with everything he said. One by one, they cycled to where Riddick kept the banknotes. But on the way, John's bike breaks down. Gradually, he sits down with Riddick. Both come to the place where the control note was. Riddick says, "John, I didn't kill your child, but he had to kill so many people to save his own life. He himself is dead and no one slaughtered him." He said so, and suddenly the leader's comrades attacked him. Riddick killed this man. This companion also damaged his bicycle. They had to walk to the space station. After that, various animals came and attacked there. These creatures ambushed Riddick and wounded him. There John receives a control note from him and goes alone. Riddick stood, covered his wounds with a cloth, and fought these creatures alone. But there was a monstrous being that Riddick wanted to kill. But at this point comes the speed to start ambushing any creatures out there. And this ambush was carried out by John, who brought with him the dexterity that agreed with him. He saved Riddick's life and gave him this transport. Riddick went straight back to his planet. First of all, do you catch the Vaku man who brought you to this planet? Riddick wisely intended to kill him outright. He puts a gun to his head and rudely questions Waku, but he says nothing. That's why Riddick butchered this man. After a while, the man's companion told Riddick that Waku was generally the master of the day. Little by little Riddick will discover Waku, and what will he do to him when he finds him? The history of the film ends with this expectation.